When we were all children going to school, there used to be something called progress report. You remember? Progress is the forward movement from the I of today to the I of my aspirations. Swamiji, how does one progress spiritually? Now, when we come to spiritual or adhyatma, where do we go? And that is where we have works which focus on spiritual wisdom, and mastering that, we master the spiritual progress also. And those books are called Adhyatma treatises or works. Example of them are the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita. They all focus on that. So many varieties of knowledge are possible. Among all the knowledge which is spoken of, the best of the knowledge is Atmavidya. The Upanishad says, Dve vidye veditavye, parachaiva paracha. Learn two knowledges. One is the higher knowledge or the highest knowledge, and then is the other knowledge also. We are causing the same kind of destruction what we would be causing to the body, but to the mind. That, with respect to knowledge, if you have doubt, then the knowledge will not be of any use. The only way by which knowledge can sink into us is when it is doubtless. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam. The topic, as Gauriji mentioned, is spirituality in action. The I of today and the I of my aspiration. What I am today and what I want to be. These are two things. And our effort is to move towards that. Whatever be the aspect of life, I may know something knowledge-wise, but then I have a vision of what I should know, how much I should know, and then I keep walking towards that. And as I keep walking towards that, I say I am progressing. Is that not? When we were all children going to school, there used to be something called progress report. You remember? So this is what I know. Like when I started first, this is what I know. Now I have progressed to know this much. That was progress. So I have a feeling that I have this much wealth now. Then I must come to gain this much of wealth. And that, when I start going near, I say that is progress in my prosperity. We have a kind of health, or we have a kind of, say, some ability, physical health. Then I say that I want to, increase my muscle bulk. Or I say I want to increase my muscle tone. Then I go to gym and then I start exercising. And then I say I am progressing. So progress is actually a movement from the today's I to the aspirational I. Yes? So what is progress? If I have to say, can I say progress is the forward movement from the I of today to the I of my aspirations. So progress is possible in various facets of one's life. But there is one more progress also we all seek. I am a particular human being of today. So I have a certain feelings, I have certain thoughts, strengths, certain weaknesses. I get irritable little fast. Or I say that I stick to my words. If I say, I stick to that. A certain values, certain principles, they are also part and parcel of us. Desire, anger, love, compassion, greed. These are also part and parcel of the me, of the I. And here again, I have an aspirational I. Come what may, I will never lose my patience. That's aspiration. Even if I get angry, really inside I should not get angry. I should outside show anger. Aspirational I. Not that I am able to be that today, but truly I seek to be that. Now, the movement of me as a particular person, what I know myself today, towards what I aspire to be, what I long to be, what I truly want to be, what I visualize myself to be. This movement forward with respect to this facet as a human being, as an individual, that movement is called spiritual progress. We have something, progress in prosperity or material wealth, progress in knowledge, progress in health. In the same way, this is spiritual progress. I am using an English word, spiritual. If I were to use a Sanskrit word, that would be adhyatma. The Sanskrit word adhyatma means with reference to oneself. There are so many things which are part and parcel of me, like for example my family, the wealth, and then so many knowledge, prosperity, etc., what we spoke. But this is core me. To this me are added many things. For example, I am wearing a dress, I can wear a jacket, I can wear a coat. But there is an actual me to which all these things are added. And this is inside me, rest of the things are all outside me. And therefore, it is important that there is progress with this also. In other words, there is progress in the spiritual aspect also. Now, a question may be asked, Swamiji, how does one progress spiritually? If I want to progress materially, prosperity-wise, I know what is to be done. I study textbooks which deal with business or with the material wealth, and then we work on it, and then we get it. And if we want to know how to, progress, muscle bulk or this or that, health-wise, then there are also certain texts about it. Then we study it, and then we work according to that, and we move forward. So this way, there are various ways and then you move forward. Now, when we ask about spiritual progress, how are we to manage the spiritual progress? How? Knowledge-wise, let's say I want to study geography. I want to be a person well-equipped with geography knowledge. Then there's geography books. You study geography. Chemistry. Wealth management, yes. Now, when we come to spiritual or adhyatma, where do we go? And that is where we have works which focus on spiritual wisdom, and mastering that, we master the spiritual progress also. And those books are called adhyatma treatises or works. Example of them are the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita. They all focus on that. So many knowledge is possible. So many varieties of knowledge are possible. Among all the knowledge which is spoken of, the best of the knowledge, I'm going to tell, the best of the knowledge is Atmavidya. Please don't think that only I am telling or I am saying. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, Atmavidya Vidyanam. Now, why is that Adhyatma, spiritual science, is the greatest of all knowledge? Let us say there is a doll, and the doll we give a nice, beautiful dress. Decorate it also, nicely we decorate it. Now, just because we decorate the doll nicely, the doll does not transform itself to a human being. The doll remains a doll because inherently it is wooden in nature. It's a doll, it's plastic. Because what is core is very important. I may have wealth. I may have, let us say, some amount of knowledge. I may have some amount of talent. But as an individual person, if I am not that wonderful, that great, that nice, that beautiful human being, whatever I may have surrounding, I still am a weak, petty, little human being. If everything else is lost also, but still me, I remain as that wonderful person, capable person, then everything can be rebuilt. I remember an anecdote of Thomas Alva Edison. Thomas Alva Edison, a well-known personality, a scientist, person who has got the maximum amount of patents, they say. He was the inventor of the incandescent bulb and all those things. So his company, he has large, he had a factory where lots of these things and all those things he used to manufacture, and then they used to sell, and it was doing quite well. Once happened that this whole factory was burning. So his son The Edison, his son, Thomas Alva Edison's son, he came running to his father, said, "Father, father." "What?" "Just come out." He came out. "Look at that." The whole factory was burning. For a moment, Thomas Alva Edison was shocked. Looked at that. And started laughing. Sometimes, when we are very sad and upset and all, we can go a little crazy. So his son thought, father has gone crazy. "Dad, are you okay?" "Son, go and get your mom." Said, "Dad, let her see this fire. In her whole life, she would not have seen a blazing fire greater than this. Bring her." The son was, he did not know what to. He just broke down. Said, "Son, don't you worry. We made it. We'll do it again. Whatever mistakes have been burnt." Inner. I've also heard of another very interesting incident about how the Calcutta University came up. One of the earliest universities in this country is the Calcutta University. One of the founders was Ishwara Chandra Vidyasagar. There's an anecdote about him. He was collecting donations for building up the university, and so somebody told that one of the richest person is the king of Oudh. But it warned him also, is very kanjus. He said, "So what? We'll check up. Maximum is going to say no." So he went. And the king listened to all about his vision, about the university, what he's planning, and then country we need to have education, and young, etc., etc. Listen to everything. And then finally the king asked him, "What do you want?" He said, "One donation." "Donation?" Then he bent down, lifted his chappal, put in that. Said, "Take." For a moment, anybody would have felt insulted. Must be he also, but he just controlled himself. He went home, and next day morning, in front of the palace, he started an auction of the Nawab's chappal. Remember, he put only one chappal. Nawab's chappal, auctioning. And because people wanted to please the ministers and the courtiers and all the people, they wanted to please the king, so they kept on, increasing the price. The price just skyrocketed. I'm talking of the 1800s. And it is said that it became 1,000 rupees, it seems. 1,000 rupees today may be, at that time it was equivalent to whatever crores it is there today. And the king, when he came to know that his chapel fetched 1,000, he was so pleased that he equaled with one more 1,000. Now, why I'm saying is that the person, they say, if wealth is lost, something is lost. If wealth is lost, nothing is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. But if nobility, goodness is lost, everything is lost. And therefore, the knowledge of how we can be that good, that word good is a very poor word, Good, noble, internally solid. Internally solid. That is very, very important. And spirituality deals with this. So let us not say, first of all, spirituality is, the word spirituality may be loosely used here and there, but I'm talking of Atmavidya. This knowledge can really make us solid internal beings. And with that strength, then it is no more a plastic doll. Then for that very strong, capable, good, lovely looking person, if you put dress, then that's a different matter. That is why the Upanishad says, Dve vidye veditavye. Parachaiva paracha. Learn two knowledges. One is the higher knowledge or the highest knowledge, and then is the other knowledge also. Okay? So what did I speak now about? I spoke about what is progress with respect to spirituality, number one. Whether it is important or not important, definitely important. That's what we saw now, but what we discussed now. And the third point is that where do we find treatises which expound that? Okay? Now let me also at this point of time share one important, how does one pursue this kind of Atmavidya? Okay? I will share this, and with that we conclude today's discussion, and then we will open for some interactions. There is a very beautiful couplet in a text called Tirukkural. That is at least some 5,000 years old. Very nicely he says, Karka, this is a Tamil text. Karka, Kasadara, Karpavai, Katrapin, Nirka, Adarku Taga. That's all. I think any one of us who is from Tamil Nadu, we have studied this Tirukkural when we were a small 5th standard, 4th standard, 3rd standard, and if you write that, you will get 3 marks in examination. But this encompasses such a wisdom. First it says, Karka. Karka, study. I think that is the most important advice, study. People who say that they have no time to study are really telling the most, what can I say, nonsense possible. Why? The whole person depends upon his mind. And if we do not give inputs to the mind, it is as good as we are not giving. Like how we eat daily food. And if we are not to give food to the body, what would happen? The body would become unhealthy. And the body would perish. Would not be sustained. In the same way, if we don't give the wealth of knowledge to the mind, we are causing the same kind of destruction what we would be causing to the body, but to the mind. I heard one small anecdote. There was one woodcutter, and he was having his axe and he was chopping and then other person saw the person he was chopping, returned back after 1 hour, again he was chopping. Said, what is wrong? 1 hour over, you are not even chopped this much. And then he went to examine that axe. He found it was blunt. Then he gave him advice. Why don't you sharpen it? You know what he said? I have no time. That way you can keep on chopping. The instrument through which we interact with the world is our mind. A healthy mind is a joyful world. A weak mind, a mind which is not powerful enough, we are only creating a weak life for ourselves. So the first important advice is Karka. Karka means you study. Karka, study. How? Kasadara. The whole couplet is Karka, Kasadara, Karpavai. He puts his word Karpavai. Karpavai means what ought to be studied. Because study is an advice, you can study everything, including how to steal the other person's purse. Because Vidya is many. There are so many Vidyas, it is said. We all know there are so many Vidyas. Study, but study what is very important. Karpavai, what ought to be studied. There's a very nice Subhashita which ends with Hamsaha, Kshiraha, iva ambu madhyad. Am I right? Like how a Hamsa Paksha is able to take the milk from the waters which is mixed with it. There are so many things, but we should have, yes, so many aspects are there. But even when we study Atmavidya, please study what are the essential and the core. Atmavidya also is a Vidya. And therefore, that Vidya has got an enormous expanse. There also, take the essence. Karka, kasadara, karpavai. And how should one study kasadu ara? Kasadu means fault, defect. Dosha, we call. Karka, kasadara, meaning karpavai. Study what has to be studied, but study that without any kind of defect. Meaning what? Study without any doubt. That is a beautiful study. But ensure that your study is doubtless. In Sanskrit, the word for doubt is samshaya. And how the etymology of the word samshaya is very interesting. Samyak shete jnanam yasmat. Which means what? That because of which the knowledge remains asleep. Meaning, if we get an information and about which we have no clarity, then that is of no use for us because there is no conviction about it. So study in such a way that you have no doubt. So spiritual wisdom should be studied how? Doubtlessly. Because that is also knowledge. That, with respect to knowledge, if you have doubt, then the knowledge will not be of any use. The only way by which knowledge can sink into us is when it is doubtless. A doubtful knowledge does not enter into us. The way for knowledge to move forward is through clarity and understanding. And if there is doubt, what will happen? There is no clarity, there is no understanding. And if there is no clarity, there is no understanding, then knowledge cannot become part and parcel of us. And therefore, karka, kasadara. Then afterwards, what one should do? Katrapin. Katrapin, after having studied, then what? Nirka adarku taga. You have studied, you have understood. Now after having understood, you have a particular clarity about how it is. Then what you do? Stand up to that understanding. What we have understood, if we don't stand up to that, then it is as good as no use. One fault of understanding or one fault of what information we receive is not digesting it properly. Digesting it properly happens when we get a proper clarity. But that is not sufficient in spiritual digestion. In spiritual digestion, one important facet is that what we have understood, what we are clear, we must be fearlessly up to it in such a way that it is practiced in one's life. Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda used to say very nicely, he used to say, understand and then stand under. Understand and then stand under. Spiritual wisdom is not like physics, chemistry, mathematics, botany, zoology and all, where you are different from understanding. Chemistry formula we know, we don't become the formula, correct? Acetaldehyde plus formaldehyde. Formic acid plus acetic acid, let us say. Okay, maybe I am wrong, hopefully I am right. Okay, we have studied this. Some CH3COOH plus HCOOH is equal to CH3CHO plus HCHO plus H2O, blah, 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 it goes some formula. We have studied that. Then what happens? That knowledge is there. Do we become the knowledge? No, it remains separate. But Atmavidya is knowledge about ourselves. And we are always ourselves. So spiritual wisdom should be studied in such a way that after having grasped that, it should become part and parcel of us, and only then it will bring the benefit. For example, I have studied, I have understood. Example I am telling, that I should get up in the morning, early morning, and do whatever, exercises or do prayers or, just go for a walk or just be with nature, listen to the bird songs, and that's a very good way to start the day. I've studied. Understood? Yes. Clear? Perfectly clear. So clear such that I kept the alarm also for tomorrow morning. An alarm though will do its duty. And immediately our mind, what does it say? Sleep for another 10 minutes more. No harm. And now there is snooze also. And the snooze goes on. If we have understood, and if we don't stand by that understanding, then spiritual wisdom is not wisdom, it is information. Information plus clarity is knowledge. Knowledge plus abidance is equal to wisdom. Information plus clarity is equal to knowledge. Knowledge plus abidance is wisdom. And that is how in the Bhagavad Gita you have a word called Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna is one who is abiding in that knowledge. கற்க கசடர கற்பவை கற்றபின் நிற்க அதற்கு தக. If you are convinced, you stand up to that. In Vedanta, we call this Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Karka, Shravana. Kasadara, Manana. Katrapin, Nirka, Adarku, Taga is Nididhyasana. So study such that you get clarity, but don't stop with that. Once you got the clarity, live according to that clarity. This much is the total spiritual progress or movement forward also, in such a way that spirituality is not studied as an information, that there will be spiritual progress. There will be Adhyatma Vikasa. Alright? So, what is spirituality? What is spiritual progress? What are the treatises that focus on spiritual progress? In our tradition, in the Hindu tradition, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, in the other traditions, other texts also are there. The Bible, the Quran, the Zen Avastha, definitely there are there. Various traditions, they focus on that. Alright? And then, what is spiritual progress? Listen, get clarity, and abide by that understanding. Alright? Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.